when I learned you were from Hampshire, that it's also apparently the county where Jane Austen was from, and Dickens.
Yes.
Yeah. Do the people that you read influence the way that you write?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I wish they wouldn't quite so much, because it does border on plagiarism, but it's, you can't help it, I don't think.
Yeah. Who were you reading as you were writing this second album?
Actually, nothing like that. I was reading a lot of kind of modern American stuff, like Philip Roth, and I fell out of love with it a bit. And I think I just read Grapes of Wrath, which had a pretty big impact on me. Yeah. So I don't know, yeah.
But in terms of music, what were the sort of influences you grew up with? What did you grow up hearing?
My parents, loved Neil Young and Joni Mitchell and Bob Dylan, James Taylor in particular. So I grew up with that. And then I had two older sisters who, were trying to make me cool and pass on CDs and things like that. So we had, quite a strange mix.
Beautiful. I'm talking to Laura Marling on the music show for Radio National. Laura, also on this new album, it's like a little string festival of different guitars, and I wanted to ask you, because there's no listing in the liner notes, what are some of the instruments that we can hear on this new album?
Well, this is Ethan's area. This is Ethan who produced
This is Ethan Johns.
Ethan Johns who produced it. He played most of them. Obviously, there's me on guitar, and then there's a double bass, but there's an Appalachian dulcimer, which is an amazing...
That's what I couldn't quite work out.
It's an amazing instrument that's... It's got 4 strings, 3 strings are tuned the same in octaves, and 1 string is a fifth. So you can basically play any note on that fifth, and it'll sound right for the key of the song.
Wow.
So that makes incredible sound. And then there was a tenor mandolin, which is like the size of a guitar. There's all sorts of weird stuff on there. Yeah.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
And you mentioned Ethan Johns, your producer. How did you find him? How did you end up working with him on this album?
Well, I mean, I'd known of him, obviously, since my oldest sister brought home Heartbreaker, the Ryan Adams album, when I must have been like 10.
Yeah, so we should say that Ethan Johns has produced albums for the likes of Ryan Adams, Rufus Wainwright, Emmylou Harris, Tom Jones.
Yeah.
Pretty disparate group of musicians.
Yeah. And so, I was a huge fan of... He just hasn't made a bad album, I don't think. And so, yeah, and I don't know how we ended up getting together. I think some chap got us talking, and I was really intimidated, and eventually he broke me down, and we recorded an album.
And what were you looking for in terms of having finished the first album that was a very big success and nominated for a Mercury Music Prize? What did you want to do with the second album? What were your early conversations with Ethan like?
I wanted it to be a lot more natural than the first album. Not that I think it was unnatural, but I felt like I had much more of an ability to have a larger part in the production of this album. Whereas on the first album, I gave it to Charlie Fink, who produced it all. He worked really hard. And
were you
great.
Happy with the first album?
I was, very happy. But I didn't feel attached to it in the same way that I do to this one. And also, I wanted to just play with the musicians that I'd been playing with for the last year and a half, who had now defined my sound for me, with me. And they wrote all their own parts. So it was just so easy. We went for 2 weeks and just bashed out the songs, and Ethan added bits and took away bits, and it was, fun.
It's a very intimate sound that you guys have created. And like when you mentioned all the different instruments that you chose, why were they the right sound world for you?
I think because they're very easy to sit in a room with no microphones and play. I think that's it. I wouldn't really... I mean, there's a little, touch of electric guitar in there, and obviously there's some effects and things like that, but I prefer it to be easy to play in a room with people.
Yeah. Fantastic.